Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Introspective Thoughts. I'm your host, Sheikah Trays. What y'all got? What's good? What's pop? Now, let me stop. 'Cause y'all know I can't rap. Let me stop. Yo, so welcome to the first official episode of Introspective Thoughts. And I hope you all are doing well as you are watching this video. I hope that COVID has not caught you. I hope that, the wildfires over on the West Coast ain't, got you either. I hope the earthquake over in New Jersey, something like that, ain't got you. I hope the hurricanes don't get you. It's a lot. There's a lot of shit going on right now. But regardless of what the hell is going on, I hope that this video finds you well. And if it doesn't find you well, just know it's still some way to go and there's some room to grow. Amen and amen. All right. So today's episode is going to be on this idea of belief and faith, right? And I feel as if right now this is a time in which everybody's faith is being tested. Everybody's idea of faith is being tested. My idea of faith is being tested, and I'm kind of sick of it. But things work out for the betterment of our own goods and our own higher selves, right? And so I kind of just want to take some time today and talk briefly about the idea of faith and the idea of belief and how we kind of need that shit to go forward. So yeah, sit back, relax, put your seatbelt on because we might get real ratchet. We might go Baptist, Costal, Apostolic, in Christ. I don't know where this episode is going, but when I produced and planned it, it was real powerful. Wow, what is English today? So yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into it. All right, so what does it truly mean to have faith? So that's my guiding question for today. Like, what does it truly mean to have faith? So if we look up the nice Google definition, let's see what Google say. Okay, Google, what is the Merriam-Webster definition of faith?
According to Merriam-Webster's word central to a belief and trust in and loyalty to God, b belief in the doctrines of a religion, c firm belief even in the absence of proof, d complete confidence.
Ooh, what a strong, powerful word right there. Thank you, Google. You did that. So, what is it? So, based off of that definition, what in the hell does it mean to have faith? Well, to me, faith means being able to believe in things that you can't see. Believe in things that you wish that was a thing. That's the act of moving. Not by off of what you see, but the intuitive thoughts or ideas or the inner guidance or the intuitive guidance that you have been bestowed upon either by your ancestors, the creator, your God that you believe in or worship or whatever you choose to do, right? And I feel like when we get in times of uncertainty like now where, even though there's a claim that the unemployment rate has gone down, which I just don't see it. And a lot of people are, out of work. A lot of people are being evicted. A lot of people are having their lights cut off. And it is still the middle of, the summer's ball sack. Like, it's just hot as all hell in some portions of this damn country. And in the world, too. But, in times of uncertainty, I feel like this idea of faith can, it can be tested, it can be challenged, it can be, pushed to your wits' end. And to be quite honest, I've been there, as in, like, I was just there, like, recently, like, a couple of days ago. It wasn't cute, to say the least, though. So, why am I doing this video on faith, right? So, just kind of giving y'all some background and a look into my own business, because, that's the only way I feel like that we can understand this concept, is for me right now, I have been unemployed formally by, somebody else. I ain't working for nobody else's money or haven't been working for somebody else's money since about January when I quit teaching for the third time, something like that. And as much as I enjoy teaching, it was the politics and the people on the administration that literally got under every inch of my skin. And to see how black administrators were doing black students really just rubbed me the wrong way to the point where I was just like, if I don't get out of this building, either one or two things is gonna happen. I'm either A, gonna self-destruct, or B, I'm gonna catch a charge. And that second one was really working really, really well, but that first one is what got me out of there, right? And so, of course, I've been kind of, back and forth, up and down, trying to secure a job and trying to figure out, hey, what should I do with my life? Where am I going? What's the next move, right? Luckily, I hit a time where I'm like, well, let me just go further my education or something like that and go do something productive with my life, right? And so, but of course, with that, bills are still due. They're still real. They're still a thing. Rent is still a thing. By the time you're watching this, my rent was due a couple days ago. But, it was... It is what it is. I mean, I can't do shit about it, and I can't give them something that I don't have. So it is what it is. And of course, on top of that, a lot of people who are struggling and trying to pay their bills and pay their rent, a lot of them are trying to make some heavy decisions about, am I going to eat today? Am I going to, be able to put gas in the car? Am I going to be able to go do, make sure my kids have what they need in order to be successful, in this virtual learning space, whatever, and to be quite honest with y'all, I went batshit crazy. Like, literally lost my shit, as in, like, pacing around my house, anxious as all hell, going the fuck off to the creator, going off to my ancestors and being like, well, why the fuck are y'all have me doing all this, that, and the third? Why do I feel like this? Blah, 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 blah. I mean, like, going off. Like, it was not cute at all. And to be honest, like, I had to be humbled a couple times. I had to be brought back all the way back down and be like, you need to chill, because if you think about it, you have not worked for somebody since January. It is now September, but you still are able to eat. Gas was in your car. Your rent was paid. Your bills was paid. You moved to an entire different state, and you're now enrolled in an educational program. So what is it that we're missing? What's the problem here? And I think where the issue comes in, at least for me, in a sense, is that when we get to a portion of where we can't see what's getting ready to happen, we tend to freak out about what may happen. We start to put an attachment to an outcome that really might not even happen. Like, and it really may not even come into fruition, but we tend to get stuck on, like, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if enter a negative thing happen, right? And so, of course, for me, and for those that know me personally, they know I tend to kind of shun away from like change, because it's hard for me. I mean, I've gone to therapy and I was told that I have a, adjustment disorder type deal, which, I mean, I'm not 1,000% sure what that is. But if anybody that's a therapist is a psychiatrist, one of them words, any of y'all want to tell me what that is, then great, go for it. But regardless of that, it definitely threw me off and threw me for a loop, and I had to be brought down to size, like, really, really brought all the way back down to show, that just because you think you run shit, you don't really run shit. You have a control, you have a hand in this, in your life, and free will is a thing. But at the end of the day, it's some kind of divine timing that you gotta wait on. So yeah, what can you do? And of course, I know for a lot of people, it's like, well, that's not helping anything. That's not paying the bills. Belief and faith is not paying the bills. It's not getting this rent done. It's not cutting these lights on. And I get that. But at the same time, for you Christians and you people who are Jesus followers or whatever, it says in Hebrews chapter 11, faith is the substance of things that are hoped for and the evidence of things that are not seen. And when you walk, by faith and not by sight, you walk by belief that things are going to be taken care of. That's what faith is, and not based off of what you see. And I feel like for me, that's where I got stuck, is I was operating based off of what I saw. Because, but if you think about it though, all the things that I listed off, if I would have just changed my perspective or changed my perception to what's going on around me, I'd realize immediately I'm good. everything is taken care of. I'm fine. It's just about I'm worried about what's the forward motion. We're worried about what's the forward motion, right? And so I also think this idea kind of ties back to, this idea of the law of attraction, right? Where we're saying like, I hope that this comes out, or what if this comes out, it comes out in this way, or I hope that this, works out for the betterment of me and for my higher self, which is all good. But we also have to remember that, when you're putting out negativity, that's going to come back onto you. When you're putting out positive things, that's going to come back onto you. That's the basic, premise of the law of attraction. But there also has to be a portion in which your divine self says, chill out. Even though you ain't got it figured out, just know it's already worked out. That's what the preachers, that's what the psalmists used to say, while you already trying to figure it out, God has already worked it out. But the thing is, we may not be able to see it with our own human eyes, but from a spiritualist standpoint, the universe always has to maintain balance. If you ain't got what you need, the universe is going to give you what you need just so it can maintain balance. If it doesn't, that's self-destruction right there. It just doesn't work out like that. And I know a lot of people are like, but what about the people that are homeless, and what about this, that, and the third? You might not like what I'm getting ready to say, but I honestly believe that those people who are stuck in those positions are stuck in that mindset. I know y'all favorite rapper Kanye said the same thing, that slavery was a choice, which in a physical sense, not necessarily, but in a mental sense, he's 1,000% correct. Like, you have a choice of whether or not you're gonna stay in the mindset, or if you're gonna shift your perspective, or shift your perception to move into something else, or move into a different headspace to get you where you need to go, right? And so you're probably like, well, where are you basing this idea off of? I'm gonna take you to childhood real quick. If you have your Nickelodeon apps, you open it up to a lovely episode of SpongeBob, right? SpongeBob, there was an episode called Club SpongeBob, right? And on Club SpongeBob, for those that remember, I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of the episode just so you kind of see where I'm going. But on Club SpongeBob, SpongeBob and Patrick was stuck in a treehouse that was literally, the size of a crawl space. And, they were trying to get help from Squidward, but Squidward thought that they was talking cash money to him and saying that he wouldn't fit in the club and he wouldn't be able to get in. And when Squidward got into the actual space, he realized that, oh, this is what you mean by I wouldn't fit. So Squidward tries to get out by, latching onto like a branch or something, a little tree or a shrub or something like that, whatever. And he manages to get half of his body out, but where the clubhouse is literally, the tree is leaning over almost to where it would have snapped. But instead of the tree snapping, the twig snapped. And just like any, science person would know, when something like that happens, you're going to get slingshotted and catapulted miles and miles and miles away, which is what ends up happening. And so they ended up in like a forest, I don't know, some shit like that. And they end up getting out of it because, of course, the space like blew up because, destruction or whatever. And SpongeBob and Patrick, their guiding source, or their guiding source of information, the magic conch shell, practically told them to do nothing, right? They said, oh, magic conch shell, what do we do in this situation? And the conch shell said, nothing. Put a pin in that because I'm going to come back to that, right? So now, meanwhile, while they doing nothing, Squidward is over here panicking, trying to figure out how the hell do I get out this kill field? Where am I going to sleep? How am I going to eat? How am I going to do all these different things, right? And so SpongeBob and Patrick still over there chilling in the corner, doing nothing. They Magic Conch shit already told them what to do. Nothing. So they sitting down. Squidward is still running around panicking, and at some point in time, he finally calms down or whatever. And from there, you see Squidward begin to kind of like make the best of his situation, I guess, if you can say that. He makes himself an encampment, which really wasn't nothing but a fence to keep SpongeBob and Patrick out. It made no sense. I don't know how that was going to shelter him, but whatever. I'm questioning cartoons. And he ends up finding a frying pan. I don't know how. kills a bug and starts to saute it in the frying pan. Goes over to taunt SpongeBob and Patrick like, "Oh, you wish you want this and this is that and that third. You can have something to eat and be over here in a safe space right here, but you want to listen to a magic talking toy. You want to listen to something that really is not going to give you what you need." And one of the most poignant things besides the magic concept telling them nothing to do nothing, he said, Squidward that is, said, y'all act as if the solution to your problems is going to fall right out of the sky, and literally that's what happens. There was a plane or something like that had like camping supplies or some shit in there, I don't know, and they were literally falling out of the sky, and they was like, "Oh, we gotta drop the load, hit the button," and literally every single thing that they would have needed, tent, food, supplies, clothes, all of that, fell out of the plane and landed right where SpongeBob and Patrick was. Now, if you grew up in the church, that's where you should have shouted. That's right where you should have shouted. Because if you start putting things together, right, where are we going here with this? Sometimes, in the midst of a struggle, and in the midst of, hard times, the best thing that you can do is sit your black ass down and do nothing. Because what I've come to realize over this time of, being unemployed and trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life and how I'm going to get things paid for, is that 9 times out of 10, when you think you're doing something to help a situation, you're actually working against it and making your situation a lot harder than it needs to be, right? And of course, I know anxiety sets in, depression sets in, worry sets in about, well, how is this going to work out? Sometimes the best thing that you need to do is to sit down and just let it play out. Literally let go of the situation. Detach from it, be like, I can't do shit about it. When something shifts in my favor, that's when I'm going to respond. That's when I'm going to make something happen. But until that thing happens, I'm going to sit down and, as the magic concept says, do nothing. Right? That's one thing. Second piece with that I want to hit with that is that if SpongeBob and Patrick were on the same type tip as Squidward, what would have gotten solved? Because again, Squidward just made a fence around himself. He didn't do anything to cover himself from the rain or the snow or any other different type of thing. He literally built an encampment around him, and that was it. You killed the bug and put it in whatever, still don't know how you found a cast iron skillet. Whatever. You killed a bug and you put it in there, right? And you were frying it over a high heat. But how is a bug going to feed 3 fully grown people? How does that work? But had SpongeBob and Patrick not had the faith to trust in that magic conch shell, they literally wouldn't have got everything that they needed. Had they not sat there and listened to it and believed that this thing knows what it's talking about, then they wouldn't have gotten everything that they need. They literally would have been exhausted and fatigued and worked themselves to death in order to solve a problem that all they had to do was just sit there and wait on it like this. Right? And I feel like that episode, which I feel like a lot of different cartoons really drop a lot of good gems in, we just got to pay attention to them or whatever, right? I feel like a lot of things, especially when it comes to hard times, the best thing again is to have that faith, and trust that things are going to work themselves out. And if they don't work themselves out, at that moment, that just means it's not right. It's not right in at that moment. Third thing I got out of that, and this was the personal sermon for me, was that sometimes you have to trust that somebody else is working on your behalf. Somebody or something else is working on your behalf. Because again, as the song said, while you're trying to figure it out, it's already been worked out. The universe literally has to maintain balance always and forever. And if it doesn't, that's going to be an issue for it. But that is for it to figure out. A good homie of mine told me, shout out to G for this piece of advice. He said, the how something happens is none of your concern. Marinate on it real quick, right? The how something happens, the how something works out, is none of your concern. What should be your concern is that it works out, right? it kind of goes back to this idea of faith without work is dead. If you put in your work and you know you've done what you do, how that shit works out or how that situation pans out is none of your concern because you did your part. At that point, it's your time to be like, all right, detachment situation, I release attachment to it and surrender the outcome to the universe, the creator, the most high God, whoever you believe in, right? And I feel as if that for a lot of us in this situation right now, that is a necessary thing. That is a necessary idea that many of us should kind of tap in and use that to our benefit, right? Use that to get us where we need to go, because as many of us can see, 2020 has been kicking folks' asses left and right and has been taking names and cementing them in the ethers and saying, I claim this bitch for myself. With again, the wildfires, tornadoes, hurricanes, unemployment, money going down, tensions arising in other countries and stuff like that. But at some point in time, you have to wonder and realize, is that my problem to worry about? Yes, I may be sitting in it right now, but is that my problem to worry about? The answer is yes. Okay, cool. What can I do to solve it? The answer to that is no. Dang, it should do me. It is what it is. Honor your energy. This kind of thing that's been coming into my head for the longest time is to honor your energy. Honor how you're feeling in this situation, because in honoring how you're feeling, you're honoring your connection to God, to the Most High, to the Creator. You're honoring that connection. You're also telling that being, that divine being, that you got this situation. This ain't meant for me to solve. You got it. I'll let you do what you do. And the other thing that, again, that I've learned from this is that, take some time to step back and just let it be. Because that's just it. Like, you can't, if you can't solve it, that's nobody's issue but that divine source, right? So I hope this brief discussion or introspective thought helped you out. I hope that the situation that you are in right now rectifies itself. I hope that, whatever you're going through rectifies itself very soon. I hope that your miracle and your blessing and your breakthrough is on the way. I hope that whatever you need is on the way, right? And so I'm going to close out this episode with a card pull from my actual favorite deck, is the Magical Spell cards, right? So, dear ancestors and divine source, I come before you now asking for a card or a message for the collective here. What is it that they need in order to get to the next level, in order to deepen their faith, in order to sit down and do nothing and let things just work itself out? I speak a blessing of healing, peace, and wholeness over those that choose to watch this, that choose to like this, and choose to share this video to their people, because I would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you did. Ting. These are many other blessings we ask as if they're already done. I say, and so it shall be. Interesting enough, before I could even pull a card, this was at the bottom. Strength. If you want to read the thing out to yourself, speak it over yourself, you're more than welcome to do so. It says strength, stability in this hour. What they say? Endurance, stamina, I empower. And has number 34 up there, which has to do with, spiritual inclination, going back and reassessing things, looking over how things have worked out for you, and, taking what you learned and applying it now. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that part of faith is having divine wisdom and having the knowledge, taking the knowledge that you've learned and applying it to where you're going. So there's that. So there's a message in itself. Let's see if they got one more for y'all, and then I'm gonna leave y'all be. Again, make sure you like, favorite, subscribe, share. I don't know how YouTube works. You see the buttons down there. Do what you do. Whatever, Y'all got one more for the people? One more for the people before we get up out of here? Yay, nay? Was that it? Was that all we needed for them? Let's see what we got here. What did I literally just say? What is the number up top? Come on now. You need these two things to get you where you need to go. So not only do you need faith, you need strength. Strength, having that strength, that's that faith right there. Faith is tapping into that inner strength, but faith is also the wisdom. What is the serenity prayer? Give me the strength to control things that are in my control, and the peace to surrender those that are not. Something like that. This is my paraphrase version. Whatever. I don't remember. But literally, I just said you need a wisdom. There's that number 7 again. Looking at the spiritual inclination. The statement on here says, on a Wednesday with the waxing moon, let wisdom come and be renewed. That's the message that they got for y'all. Y'all be great. And I'll see y'all next time for another episode of Introspective Thoughts. I holla.